This is your 5-day action plan for how you can become a paid UGC content creator. Hey, I'm Luke. I'm a UGC content creator and a traveler. I create travel content as well. I've been in the UGC space for about 2 years now, creating content for various companies and brands, including some brands that I absolutely love to use in my everyday life, so they were dream clients for me to work with. And today I'm going to be taking you through how you can get set up as a UGC creator and get paid with a 5-day action plan. So each day of this 5-day action plan, we're going to have a different task for you to do. These can take you as long as you want. If you want to spread this out over more than 5 days, or if you want to blitz out and do the whole thing in one day, crack on. But I'm going to give you one task per day for 5 days, so you can dial in each one and get the best out of it. So day 1, this is where it all starts. We're going to identify a space in which you want to create UGC content. So there's a few factors to figure this out. What interests you and what excites you are the two main things, because it's so much easier to create content around something that you are genuinely passionate about. Something that you already know a lot about, you've got a lot of interest in it, and the space excites you as a person. For me, I'm an avid traveler and a photographer. I recently worked with one of my favorite bag companies because they make absolutely amazing camera bags which are ideal for traveling. This was a perfect fit for me. I've got a lot of interest in this space and the product genuinely excites me. So first things first is I want you to identify 3 things that genuinely excite you, things you could talk about, things that you're interested in, things that are probably in your everyday life because it's something you're generally passionate about. Not everything that you're interested in will lean itself to making content around it. So I want you to try and narrow down to a handful of things that you find generally it's easy for you to talk about and it does excite you and it's probably in your everyday environment. Now, could you see yourself making content within this space continuously? Because if the answer is no, move on, ditch that idea. If the answer is yes, let's keep going forward. So the whole of day 1, and this can take you an hour, this could take you multiple hours, is figure out the space that you want to exist in within UGC content. And then we're going to refine that a bit. I could say I want to make content about travel. Now the areas of travel are limitless. I can make content about travel insurance, about travel bags, about places to visit. I could make content about specific locations. I could talk about what to pack for travel, and I could talk about how to find the best deals. Now, although I could talk about all these things, not all of these aspects of travel excite me, and not all of these aspects of travel lean themselves towards creating UGC content. So once you've narrowed down into your space and you've thought of some ideas of stuff that you could create content around, it's time to refine down a bit further and get rid of the things that we wouldn't create content about, or you couldn't create consistent content about. I couldn't create consistent content about specific areas of Bali because I'm not going to be able to find brands and businesses that are going to pay me to create content about that. I could, however, get really good at creating content about travel bags. And there are so many companies out there that would pay me to review their bags, to wear their bags, to get photos in their bags, to go on trips with their bags, and to talk about how good their bags are. So not every area of the topic that interests you will lean itself to UGC content. So I want you to figure out a handful of areas within the space that you've decided on, or the spaces that you've decided on, where you could create that content. And you could create it tomorrow, because we're going to move on to step 2 now. Today, it's all about my portfolio. I'm going to try and be as generic as possible, but if there are specific brands that you love and you would actually like to work with, this is a perfect opportunity to create some content with their products. So for example, I might go get my Osprey bag. The bag that I travelled around Asia with for 6 months, and I absolutely love, and I think it was an amazing bag to use for travel. I am then going to go and make some content about that bag, and that's what I want you to do on day 2. So for this exercise, I want you to pick 3 things you could create content about today. 3 things that you already own and you would find it easy to showcase the value of it. Now for each of these 3 things, I want you to create 3 ideas of ways that you can display a value about the product. Once you've got your 3 ideas, pick the top 2 and you're going to script out your video. We're going to pick something specific about it that you can talk about the value of that. You're going to showcase it in action and you're going to genuinely and passionately talk about why you love it. Now this doesn't have to be long because UGC content is for the most part short form platforms. So we're going 15 to 45 seconds here, nothing dramatic. Once you've got your 2 scripts, get filming. So by the end of day 2, you have established the space that you want to create UGC content in, which you are not limited to, by the way. This is just a starting point. If you want to expand later on, you can. And you've created 6 portfolio pieces within that space that you can use to showcase the brands and businesses that you can create content for them. Day 3, we're going to get back to the laptop. we're going to figure out where we're going to display our portfolio and we're going to get it up. There's various options and ways that you can display your portfolio. The possibly more long-winded way would be to create a website for it, which I do suggest you do eventually. We don't need to do it at this stage if you're just getting started. If you're just getting started, we just want to get it online somewhere that we can send a link to brands and clients. You could create a designated Instagram page and get them up on there. You could share them to your existing social medias like Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. It's probably the best places to upload it because you can send out links and show them directly. If you do have the time or you really want to go deep on this, a website is also a great thing, which we'll get to later on in this process. This is not within the 5-day plan, but a website is a great idea to have. Now, I don't know what size your audience is, but if you're already an established creator and you've already got a bigger audience, you may want to or may not want to share these pieces onto your page. If you already have a big audience and you share them onto your page, you are showcasing to brands out there that you can create UGC content. But equally, you're also giving them free promotion, which you may not want to do. And if you don't have any audience at all and you don't intend on having an audience, if you're not a content creator for yourself, you just want to create for brands for them to upload to their socials, then you may not want to post it onto your own socials. And if that's the case, you can create a designated account or just use a YouTube, mark it as unlisted. Or a final option is you could always just send them to them via WeTransfer. I don't like this option because it feels clunky to me. If you do it via WeTransfer, they've got to click a link to then go to the WeTransfer site, they've got to then download it, they've then got to extract the folder and then they get to watch it. Whereas if you upload it to a platform, you just click a link and boom, it's right there. So day 3 is you're going to decide where you're going to host this portfolio and then you're going to get it up. Now that's not going to take you all day unless you're doing the website option, which then that might take you all day, but this isn't going to take you all day. So part 2 of day 3 is I want you to identify 20 brands or companies or businesses or whatever it is that you want to work with. 20. Not only want to work with, you actually think you may have a shot of working with them. Look into them. Make sure they're already using UGC content. If they're not using UGC content, that is an opportunity for you to upsell to them to be their UGC creator, but it's going to be a harder sell because they probably don't realize the benefits of UGC. So we need to find 20 brands that do already use UGC and get them noted down and get ready for day 4. Day 4, you can probably guess we're outreaching to brands. Now, in your list of 20, if you didn't include the brands that you created content with their product in your portfolio building stage, add them onto the list. If you did include them, then yeah, logical, that sort of makes sense. I would have expected you to do that. But just want to put that out there in case it just didn't even occur to you, put them on the list as well. Even if those brands aren't currently using UGC. We're now going to start outreaching to brands and we're going to start with those brands you created content with. We're going to reach out to them and we're going to say, hey, I've created this content already with your product. I would love to work with you guys on some UGC stuff. Would you be open to jumping on a call and discussing this further? We want it short and sweet. We don't want to waste their time. And you've already created some content, so you've already got their interest there. And they're probably going to click the link, go have a look. And if they're interested, hopefully they'll jump on a call. If they're not, they're not. But they're the brands we're going to start with because we've already got a piece of content specifically designed for that brand right there. And how you go about it from there is up to you. You could then sell them the rights to upload these pieces. You could get them to pay you a one-off fee for creating them and give them to them. You could get the ball rolling and start creating more consistent content for them. That would be absolutely fantastic. And obviously you're not going to get a reply within day 4 or 5 because this has got to be reviewed first. The remaining 20 brands, I want you to reach out to all of them. And I don't want you to copy and paste the email that you use for brand 1 to brand 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way up to 20. Before we even start writing our emails, I want you to list those brands in order of the ones you'd love to work with to the ones it would be really cool to work with, but prioritize the order. And then we're going to start at the bottom. We are going to hand write and write from scratch to every single brand from the bottom, from number 20, all the way up to number 1, individually. And this might sound really long-winded, and if you don't want to put in the work, then maybe this space isn't for you. But there's a reason here, because you're going to learn from this. You're going to write out your first email. You're probably going to rewrite it a few times because you're going to not think it's going to be very good. And then you're going to send it off. And this email is going to be a short and concise pitch saying something along the lines of, hey, I'm a UGC creator. This is the sort of thing I can do. You could say I've worked with products from these brands, because you haven't worked with those brands, but you've worked with the products for them. So, you've got to fluff it up a little bit. This is what I can do. I'd love to jump on a call. The end goal for me is always to get them on a call. Once you're on a call, you can really display your personality. You can't display your personality for an email. It just doesn't work. If you get them on the call, you can help them understand why UGC content will be beneficial for them and why they should go with you. We're going to start at number 20 and we're going to get that first email sent out. We're going to go to number 19 and you're going to rewrite it from scratch, and you're not allowed to use it word for word. You're not allowed to just put the same thing and just type it out again. I want you to rewrite it and recraft your email. And then you're going to do this all the way up the list, because as you do this, you're going to refine this email and you'll notice in your head, it feels better. It feels more personal. It feels like you're getting a personality across, but it also feels like an email that you would actually respond to. Your first few are probably going to sound robotic. They're probably going to sound like a copy and paste email. They're going to sound like a generic email. They're not going to sound the best, because unless you've already got experience writing sales pitching emails, basically, you're not going to be amazing at it. But the idea is, by the time you get to those brands that you really want to work with, you have refined and you've crafted your email writing skills to the point where you can pretty much copy and paste it. I'm not saying you should, but you could, because it's dialed in. It's the one, and it's doing great, and hopefully it will reach the intended audience. You're going to get some no's, and that's also good. Have you ever heard of the theory of you should get 100 no's before a yes? That's what we're going for it, basically. You will get no's. Not everyone wants UGC content. Not everyone has the time for it. Not everyone even cares about it. You're going to get people saying no. But the point is, you've tried. You cannot get that yes without going through all the no's. And if I told you on your 101st email you would get a yes, how quickly would you start rattling through those 100? That's the logic you need to have here. How quick, if you knew a yes was in there somewhere, how quickly would you start digging? After this 5-day plan is done, and after you've spent day 4 doing all these 20 emails, and in theory, this is going to take you most of the day to do, you can start working on your next list and start attacking those next week. You've still got day 5 to do first. Day 5. You've now spent the last week in the UGC space. You've been learning about it. You've been creating your content. You've been reaching out to brands. You've probably done a bit of research on the brands and seen some other UGC content out there. This is the time to evaluate and reassess. Day 5 is all about self-criticism. We're looking in and we're looking at what we've created here. We're going to look at our portfolio pieces. And you know what? You may look at some of them and go, that's pretty shit. I'm actually happy with that. I could do that better again. And that's good. That's means you're learning, and it means you're growing. Day 5 is about evaluating what you could have done better in the ideation, what you could have done better in the scripting, what you could have done better in the filming, what you could have done better in the editing. It's about realizing where you could have improved your email further, how you could have reached out better, how you could improve how your portfolio looks online. It's reevaluating all, because at this point, you've been immersed in this space for 5 days straight now, and you will have learned and you will have grown. So we're going to reevaluate and we're going to start again. Maybe not from day 1. You know the space and you know the areas that you want to focus in. Day 2, we're going to start creating more portfolio pieces. You could use the same items and products if you want to. You could use the same idea. You could even use the same script if you just think the filming was a bit off or the editing was a bit off. But you can redo it, refine it, make it absolutely perfect. Because if you want people to work with you, you need to be delivering something that is worth working with. And if you want to make it in this space, you need to deliver a banging product. And the only way you can get better at making that banging product is by doing the thing over and over and over again until you refine it. It's how anything works in life. You have to keep doing it to get better. So that is what day 5 is all about. And at the end of day 5, I want you to give yourself a pat on the back for how far you've come and the progress you have made in the last week that so many people won't have bothered to even make. So many people won't have even looked at what space they want to create content in, let alone gone forward and created a portfolio, put it online, reached out to brands, crafted their emails, perfected their techniques. You will be so much further ahead than most other people because you've done this. I feel like you can see how the passion in this last couple of minutes of me talking about this, because I am genuinely passionate about this space. I'm genuinely passionate about creating good content. It excites me and it's great for everyone. And the better it is, the more people are going to pay you to make it, basically. And I'm also just going to put this out here right now. If you watch this entire video and you don't go ahead and make any steps forward or do anything that I've said here, you're not allowed to comment, oh, it doesn't work. Oh, he's chatting rubbish. Oh, I made no money. Because you didn't actually do anything that I said. If you've watched the video and you've not gone through the cycle, you cannot say anything about it. I cannot guarantee anyone's success. However, if you go through this process, you figure out your space you want to work in, you go through the whole cycle, and then you go back and you rinse and repeat, you evaluate, you refine, you craft it, you will find success. You absolutely will. If you keep putting in the work, you will find success if you get better at what you do. It's simple as that. I can't wait to see your faces on my feed selling me products through UGC content. Can't wait. The series is continuing. If there's anything specific you want me to talk about or teach, comment it down below. See you in the next one. Peace.